All right, we start off today's show with some breaking news. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Hope all of you out there have had a phenomenal weekend, and your weeks are off to a great start as well. The Eagles announcing on Twitter this morning that the Birds have officially signed Kelee Ringo prior to the start of training camp, which does get underway 8 days from now on July 25th. Eagles Twitter tweeting this out that we've signed Kelee Ringo, and now all 7 of the team's 2023 NFL draft picks are under contract. And you go back to what Howie Roseman and this front office did back in April for the draft. I really like what Philadelphia accomplished here. They get the best player available in Jalen Carter, who, according to some teams, prior to the unfortunate circumstances of that crash that happened after the Georgia National Championship parade, a lot of people thought that he was going to be the number 1 overall player, not just defensive player in this draft class. So you get him as he falls to you at number 9. You only had to move up 1 slot to take him. You get his Georgia teammate and Kelee Ringo's Georgia teammate at 30th overall. An edge who has some similar size and build to Hassan Reddick. Really good bend and speed coming off that defensive end spot. You needed to bulk up that offensive line after losing Isaac Seumalo and bring in some young players because some members of that Eagles offensive line are a little bit older in Jason Kelce and Lane Johnson, so you accomplished that with Tyler Steen. Interestingly enough, he played a lot of tackle at Alabama. When the Eagles took him, though, they listed him as a guard. I'll be curious to see if he competes a little bit with Cam Jurgens, but when Jason Kelce says, yeah, I think Cam Jurgens is going to flank me to my right at right guard, I certainly trust that. I trust Jeff Stoutland to get that offensive line in order. Sidney Brown, a young safety, big hitter, instinctual player. I can't wait to see what he can do after playing for the best defense in college football last year. Always seems to be in the right place at the right time. The Eagles really like Kelee Ringo, obviously, because they moved up to take him and surrendered a 3rd-round pick in the 2024 draft in order to bring him into Philadelphia. You get a backup developmental quarterback in Tanner McKee, and then another defensive lineman with Moro Ojomo out of Texas, one of the youngest players in the 2023 draft. So with Eagles training camp set to begin here on July 25th, another reminder to subscribe to the show because we're going to be giving you some great training camp updates. Watch parties are around the corner. Rookies and veterans set to report to the NovaCare Complex on July 25th. Once again, 8 days away, so make sure you hit that sub button for year-round and daily coverage of the Eagles. Kelee Ringo last year at Georgia. Now, heading into 2022, a lot of people thought that he could have gone in either the 1st round or 2nd round of the NFL draft. His pro football grades really checked out. A coverage grade of 70.3, overall grade of 71.4, able to tally 545 coverage snaps, 41 receptions given up, with 77 targets, 525 yards, 2 picks, a passer rating allowed of 68.4, and 11 pass breakups. Now, a lot of you watching might be asking, well, Chase, why did he slide all the way to the 4th round? Character concerns? Did he really struggle on the field? Character concerns are said to not be a problem. Instead, in the pre-draft process, he was a little bit banged up with the shoulder injury. As for why he also slid because of his play, he does have high-end speed as evidenced by the relative athletic score here. This gauges athletes going into the draft on a scale of 1 to 10, and he checks out perfectly here, 9.67. And while he has that high-end speed, he did get beat a lot at Georgia last year playing with a really solid defense. I'm also curious to see if maybe the Eagles have plans for him to maybe play safety at some point. There was a picture that we talked about on the Buda Baker show last week where he looked to be bulked up, did Kelee Ringo, when he was practicing and getting some workouts in alongside Buda Baker. But you have to be excited because of the athleticism here. Anytime you see green, you fall in a very elite category. So the height, green, weight at 207, that's also elite. Vertical jump, broad jump. This gauges explosiveness pretty much. That's bad and average, but he's able to counter that with the 4.36 40-yard dash and the 20-yard split, 10-yard split. Short area quickness, important for a cornerback. He checks those boxes as well. So Kelee Ringo, this is important for him just for his overall development. You don't want a training camp holdout as a rookie. You want to be able to partake in these practices right from the jump to learn the defense, learn the arduous style that is the NFL type of physicality, right? And you could just get a grasp of what the NFL life is like instead of being a guy who comes in late. Then you're playing catch-up the whole time. That's not ideal when you figure to be competing for a roster spot and or some playing time as a rookie. Probably going to have to hone in on special teams as well if he wants to see the field in the immediacy of his career. Another reason why it's important for him to get this contract done, because special teams, those nuances are not easy. If you're ready for some Eagles football, go Birds! Give me that down in the comment section right now. Cannot wait to talk about some actual Eagles football in about a week. Coming up next on the show, an anonymous NFL executive calling out Lane Johnson and saying that he's overrated. Lane Johnson responds. Stay tuned because we have a great conversation about the Lane train. But first, today's show is sponsored by ZBiotics. 15% off if you use that QR code on the screen, as well as the link zbiotics.com/chatsports. Let's face it, I got to be honest. After y'all hit me with a bunch of super chats, I don't bounce back necessarily well the next day. That is until I found ZBiotics. It is a pre-alcohol probiotic and the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. And here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. ZBiotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down, and it's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut, where you need it the most. Drink ZBiotics before drinking alcohol. Drink responsibly and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. When you put it in order, getting that 15% off deal by using the QR code here to my left or that link down below me, zbiotics.com/chatsports. It comes in a package like this, and the bottles, very easy to travel with. It's been clutch for me as I do travel a lot because it is an interest of mine. Head to zbiotics.com/chatsports or scan the QR code on the screen here to get that discount. Use that code chatsports as well. You can also sign up for a subscription as well so you can stay prepared no matter the time or the occasion. ZBiotics, back with the 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. One more time, that is zbiotics.com/chatsports. Promo code chatsports at checkout for 15% off. We appreciate ZBiotics for making today's show possible. We are going to put that link in the comment section and in the description of this video. Thanks to them for making today's show possible once again. Let's round out the show with this. Lane Johnson responding to an anonymous NFL executive who dissed Lane Johnson in ESPN's position rankings. Here's what that anonymous NFL executive had to say. So ESPN polled over 80 voters around the NFL, ranked the top 10 offensive linemen in the league. Its rankings included comments from anonymous voters. And here's that quote from the NFL executive. Lane Johnson gets a lot of credit for being noisy and playing on a good team. You got to be kidding me, right? Lane Johnson's been really good for a really long time. He's the best right tackle in the National Football League, in my opinion. And if you disagree with that, you do not know ball. Does that anonymous NFL executive understand that Lane Johnson has not given up a sack since November of 2020? That's right. Lane Johnson has not given up a sack since November of 2020. We are about to embark on the 2023 season. Also, the NFL executive saying that Lane Johnson gets a lot of credit for being in a run-pass option offense that limits sacks. I actually completely disagree with that because when Lane Johnson was playing in 2020, it was a different offense with head coach Doug Peterson at the time before Nick Sirianni came to Philly. Also, you want to criticize him for being in this run-pass option offense. He is protecting a mobile quarterback. If anything, it would be more difficult to protect a quarterback in this offense because Jalen Hurts likes to extend the play, run around in the pocket, which leads to a greater chance of him getting sacked because he's trying to make something happen. And Lane Johnson has to hold up in pass protection even longer because Hurts is a mobile quarterback who doesn't necessarily always get the football out early and on time and in rhythm, because that's not necessarily his style all the time. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. You don't know ball. Just turn on the tape and watch, because last year, did you see the lane train in 2022 when he had 972 total snaps, 551 pass blocking snaps, 6 penalties, 0 sacks allowed, 0 hits allowed, and only 9 pressures? Again, the fact that Hurts is a mobile quarterback makes these Lane Johnson numbers even more staggering. This is where Lane fell on that list of the top 10 tackles here with those 80 combined votes. Trent Williams at number 1 of the San Francisco 49ers. Laremy Tunsil just got the bag this offseason from the Houston Texans. Tristan Wirfs ahead of Lane Johnson, given that he's a younger player, is a little bit of a move. I would probably have Lane 2 or 3 here. His teammate Jordan Mailata coming in at 5th. Penei of the Detroit Lions, formerly out of Oregon, heading into a big year 3 for the upstart Lions squad. Andrew Thomas of the Giants at number 7. Rashawn Slater of the Chargers at number 8. Christian Darrisaw and Kolton Miller rounding out that list. Now, I don't even know if Lane Johnson's that noisy. He's not afraid to talk, but when he talks the talk, he walks the walk, and he always backs it up with some stellar play. So he heard this and saw this, and then he took to Twitter to say, noisy, clown. Yeah, that NFL executive is a clown. And then he said this on Instagram, and Jordan Mailata posted it, and then Lane Johnson shared it, I guess. At Lane Johnson, let's run this shit back. Now, Howie Roseman, as I alluded to earlier, likes to build along the trenches. Defensive line, offensive line. He's been able to do that defensively. It's been a staple of this Eagles organization for a really long time, going all the way back to when Joe Banner was running the front office. And now Howie Roseman steps in, and it's a staple of this organization as well. So too is the offensive line. Get after the quarterback, protect the quarterback, find a quarterback. You're going to have a lot of success in this league. So what do you think? Your question that you need to answer is this: should Lane be higher or lower on those rankings of him coming in at number 4? H for higher, L for lower. Let me know. I'm fired up. That's why you subscribe to the show, because we always defend our Eagles here on the program.